welcome. I'm Celeste with Ranch RV and Self Storage, where we're committed to friendliness, cleanliness, peace of mind, and helping our customers embrace value as they transition in life. And I have the privilege today to be joined by an amazing community connector, Renee Scott, who is a wellness mentor and executive vice president and independent consultant with Arbonne. Renee, thank you so much for your willingness to come today and share your value.
Celeste, thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here with one of my favorite people talking about one of my favorite topics.
Well, thank you. I know because of the years that I've known you and being involved in the community, you have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to taking care of our bodies. And people going through transition in life and self-storage, we are exhausted and just in life, let alone transitioning. And so I know you have fallen in love with this. It's one of your passions, and it's just one of the many things I admire about you. Would you share a little bit, why it's important for us to fuel the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to stop taking care of getting the premium gas or putting gas in our car at all? Is it just going to not be on our radar anymore?
Right. If we were driving a luxury car, we wouldn't even think twice about putting premium fuel in the car. But so often with our nutrition, we just don't think about it. And I think because we don't see the results of it on a daily basis. We can go a week at a time eating fast food and you're not going to see the detrimental effects. Or it can be the opposite. You can fuel your body with amazing food and not really see significant changes in 1 week's time. But over the course of a couple of months or 6 months or a year, the difference in the way we eat is absolutely going to be evident. And we're going to feel it one way or another, the positive or the negative.
Yes, absolutely. When I was in my 20s, I'm quite a few decades past that now. I didn't have to quite focus as much on the importance of the nutrition I was putting in my body. And probably my VW bug that back then, it wasn't as important to put the premier gas in it either. But constantly I see we're looking for a quick fix in life. What's the quick fix? Do you really feel that there is a quick fix when it comes to, planning and valuing our body and fueling it?
Most people are looking for the quick fix, and there really isn't one. But it's not hard either. And I think so often people think that living healthy, eating healthy, that it's hard or it's expensive. And it really isn't. It's about consistency and it's about developing small habits. And so often I think we overestimate what we can accomplish in a month. We underestimate what we can accomplish in a year. And, walking 15 minutes a day makes a huge difference. Eating breakfast, high quality breakfast every day for a year makes a huge difference. So it's so important to just start developing small habits and to continue those habits over time versus, we're in January right now and we know typically every January people make these resolutions and they want these huge results and they'll stick with it for a couple of weeks, maybe a month. And then it was too much. It was too much at one time. And so now they're overwhelmed by life, right? And you talk specifically about transitions, especially during transitions. We need to really just pick some small habits that we can commit to daily and commit to doing that over time.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for that. Small habits. I know with me, with the new year, I am continually trying to make one change I can really stick to throughout the year. It's been 6 years now that I actually gave up my consistent daily action of coffee. I was drinking about 60 ounces of coffee a day. And I gave that up and I didn't give it up just gone. What advice do you have for people who really want to, I'm going to say, kick the habit? How do you recommend they get kickstarted?
With it, well, just by minimizing, and coffee itself, it's not necessarily bad. We tend to label things good and bad, right? But it's more, what is our relationship to that? It's when we become dependent on that coffee. And it's probably because we're also not paying attention to our sleep. We're probably not fueling our body in other ways. So we're reaching for the caffeine to get through the day. So my advice would be look at the big picture. Are you getting adequate sleep? What are you feeding yourself outside of the coffee? And can you start to minimize the coffee? And I know that's how you got started, actually. It wasn't just a cut it all out, change everything. You started making small changes and small shifts, and that's really important.
And I appreciate that, the small shifts. And that's why I think I have been able to in life and throughout the decades been able to do things because it wasn't about perfection. And I hear you say that all the time
Mm-hmm.
out in the community, that it's not about perfection. It's about being willing to take the action step to do so. And so, inflammation, people in pain, when they're moving, inflammation, stress, anxiety, it's at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
We want people to understand, even more important when you're transitioning in life, to find foods maybe that are less going to be inflammation causers, or, when you do something. Do you have some suggestions about some things that can be added to the diet? Whether it be more sugar, less sugar,
Mm-hmm.
more carbohydrates, more protein. What is your insight on that?
When it comes to inflammation, I think eating a whole foods diet is absolutely key. Adding more fruits and vegetables, eating high quality proteins, grass fed when possible, organic when possible, wild caught fish, choosing whole healthy grains, things like brown rice, quinoa, and eating in balance is absolutely key for that. And, so often I think we don't realize how much our body is affected by food. We tend to think, okay, if the weight on the scale is okay, then my nutrition is okay. But nutrition affects so much more than that. It affects our energy levels, it affects our mood, our digestion, our hair, our skin. Um, you know, Irritability. There's so much that revolves around food, and we don't often realize that some of the things we're experiencing, joint pain, like you said, inflammation, that can be related to food as well. And I know for myself, when I hit 40, I just thought I was getting older. And, I have a degree in nutrition. I worked as a registered dietitian for many years. I now have my own health and wellness business. But when I hit 40, I was feeling sluggish. I was having some digestive issues, some joint pains, and I just thought I was getting older. And it wasn't until I really started to look at my food, pay attention to what I was eating for 30 to 60 days, that I realized I wasn't getting older. It was what I was putting on my plate and in my mouth.
Yes.
And when I made some changes, all of a sudden my energy went through the roof. My joints weren't aching anymore. My digestive issues weren't there. So it's really important that we take a look, and these things come on slowly. So sometimes it's hard to identify until we really start to pay attention.
Oh, beautifully said. It's so true. So true. Renee, in life, when we open our self-storage office doors, we have a plan,
Mm-hmm.
open the door, right? Turn the alarm off, turn the computers on. We have a plan, and it works. It sets us up for success. Why is it, and maybe it's just my life, that we tend to let go of that when it comes to our nutrition and our proper planning for the day, for the week, for our family? Why is that one of the first things that we cut out, or that you've seen? And how can we improve on that?
Yes, such a good question. There's a book that I love. It's called The Slight Edge, and it talks about habits. And these habits are easy to do, but they're easy not to do. And I know for myself, I know other women, probably men as well, we tend to keep our commitments to everybody else. But when it comes to our own self care, sometimes that's the first thing to go out the window. And again, that's where really building habits one at a time and then stacking those healthy habits is so important, rather than trying to change everything at once. Whether it's, and there's so many habits we can shift. It can be getting more activity. It can be doing meal prep. It can be starting the day with breakfast, adding more fruits and vegetables, getting more high quality protein. There's so many things we can focus on, and just choosing one and starting, creating a habit, and then adding to it over time really helps. So it becomes just who we are and not something we do.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. I know when I began to really understand that I had to, it was no longer, oh, I want to, it was I had to create a shift in my life in order to enhance the longevity that I wanted in my life. And so, with a busy life, being an entrepreneur, I've been married for 32 years, we have two grown children, I've been through it all. And it's been amazing. However, I have not prioritized my health. And so I want to thank you, because you were like, this is what you can eat here when you go to fast food. This is what you really shouldn't eat. You should try to do this more often and not. And then, so as I was grabbing the quick egg bites or the fajitas at certain restaurants, or being just aware of, a baked potato is good when it comes from the earth. Do you have any other, suggestions on what to do, or quick grabs? I know even about the pre-cooked chickens, like
Mm-hmm.
that's like gold. Renee, would you be willing to share your motto and then some quick tips and some great options when we have the busy lifestyle?
Absolutely. So, Celeste, I think it's so important. My motto is progress over perfection. And so often I see people with an all or nothing mindset. And I used to have that as well. That was one of my biggest struggles. And I thought, okay, if it's not perfect, well, then I might as well just go off plan for the rest of the day because I've already made a poor choice. And then that would lead to the next day and the next day. And now I'm off plan for a week. So it's really about making the best choice in the moment rather than the perfect choice. So, some simple things. Meal prep, of course, is key. I myself have just launched another business in the wellness arena and realized my time is so limited. So I love to cook, but I haven't had time to cook. So sometimes I'll just grab a couple of rotisserie chickens from Costco and I'll shred those and I have them ready and I have some greens and some other things that I can throw into a salad or make some fajitas, something along those lines. So really making things simple. So when you're going to a restaurant, take a look at the menu. Most menus are now available online. You can take a look at the menu before you get there, decide what you're having before you get there. If it's a restaurant that maybe serves bread or chips and salsa, maybe you can ask them to not bring that out or only bring out one serving so that you have a little bit of control. Because once you're starving, sometimes logic goes out the window.
Right.
The plan goes out the window.
The hangriness is real.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Very
It's
true.
real.
Very true. Renee, one other thing I want to kind of talk about is people are moving and whether it's hot, it's exhausting, the importance of hydration and what we're drinking. And water is the best. I've heard it all along. I was an athlete growing up. I understand the importance of that. When people come in, we're like, would you like a water? But what is an alternative? I've learned to drink something called fizz. I've worked on drinking more greens versus the energy drinks that are out there. I know there's a time and a need for things or a want. But can you touch base a little bit and share the importance, the value of hydration and what that should look like and kind of portions throughout the day?
Absolutely. And water is key. And water is absolutely the best choice. And if people don't like water, you can add things into it, lemon, lime, add other fruits into it to get some flavor if that's helpful. And we should all be drinking, take half of our body weight in pounds.
Okay.
That is the number of ounces. So if somebody weighs 140 pounds, they should be consuming 70 ounces of plain water per day. Then you can drink other things in addition to that you enjoy, maybe some green tea or other beverages that aren't high in sugar, high in calories, because we can add a lot of extra things that we don't need through liquids.
Got it. Thank you. Great clarification. Thank you so much. And, one of the last things I want to be able to touch on is as far as value and, better eating and better taking care of our body. What if we don't? What if we don't? What does that do for our lifespan? What does that do for our energy level? What does that do for our production? What have you seen? You're the expert, and I value what you have to offer, and it's important for our customers to understand.
Absolutely. When we don't focus on creating a healthy lifestyle, you mentioned the lifespan. It can certainly shorten it. But for me, what I find more important is I want quality of life. We don't know how many years we have. We can't control that, but quality of life. I want to do the things I want to do. I want to travel. I want to be active. I want to be there with my kids, with my family, with the people that I love. I've got a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old. I don't have a grandchild yet like you do. But when I do, I want to be there. I want to play with those grandbabies and I want to enjoy everything I do. I once heard a client of mine, she said, I want to live until the day that I die. And I thought, that's how I want to live my life. And I want to enjoy it. And one thing that I also want to say is, living a healthy lifestyle is enjoyable. And it's not a sacrifice. It's about finding healthy things that we enjoy, finding activities we enjoy. When I first started really getting into my fitness, I realized I don't like to run. I realized I don't like spin class, right? Those are two things I don't enjoy, but I love pretty much every other form of exercise. And my friends would invite me to a class and I would think, I really want to learn to love to run. And I would try to run and I would try to go to spin class. And one day I realized I just don't like it. I don't have to do that. There are so many other things that I do enjoy doing. And same thing with food. When people tell me, I don't like that. Well, what do you like? Because this is a lifestyle. And when we enjoy it, we're going to stick with it. So finding the healthy things that we do enjoy is key.
Beautiful.
So important.
Thank you. Thank you, Renee. One of the many things I just so admire you is the support that you offer. And I know you're on social media, and that's a free way for people to be able to connect with you and get some of your helpful tips just with living life and living your best life. How can our customers connect with you? How can the community connect with you?
I would say the best way would be through social media. So Instagram, my handle is at @rscottnation. And then I also have a Facebook group called Your Wellness Journey, where I share recipes, I share tips, I bring in other experts in other industries who just share tips on health and wellness. Because again, we can have all the knowledge in the world, we can know what to do, but when we're in times of transition, so much of that knowledge goes out the window, and we just need someone to come alongside us and give us ideas, give us support, give us encouragement so that we can continue on and make this again part of our lifestyle.
Renee, thank you. Thank you on behalf of Ranch RV and Self Storage for taking the time to be available so that we can share with our customers, with our community, what you do and how important it is to eat better and take care of the vessel that we have. We want it to carry us a long way for a long time. On behalf of Ranch RV and Self Storage, I want to thank you, our audience, for tuning in today. We are committed to help meeting your transition needs through self-storage, but most importantly, we want you to be able to create a quality of life as you transition. Please remember to like and subscribe so we can stay connected.